Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on implementing Microsoft Fabric for your enterprise organization. I'd like to thank you all for attending today. So let's start off with some intros. My name is Will. I'm a data and AI consultant at Thorogood, based out of our UK office. And joining me today is my colleague, Webcast, who is joining us out of one of our US offices. If you have any questions or need further clarification on anything we discussed today, please feel free to reach out to us on email or LinkedIn. Our contact details are displayed on the screen right now and will be displayed again at the end if you missed them. We're excited to show you what Microsoft Fabric can do and how it can transform your data operations. So let's get started. So let's quickly take a look at the agenda for what we'll cover today. I'll start with a quick intro about Thorogood, a little bit about us as an organization and our expertise. Then I'll talk about an introduction to Microsoft Fabric, covering the evolution of architecture and some components of Fabric. Next, we'll then talk about Fabric's roadmap, some user journeys, the integration of AI and Copilot within Fabric. We'll do a deeper dive into the real-time intelligence experience, and then we'll end up with a demo and some concluding thoughts. So, a bit about Thorogood. For those who don't know Thorogood, we are a specialist independent consultancy which operates globally within the data and AI space. However, our products fall into the general categories of data engineering, data science, and data visualization. But essentially, our business is helping our customers make sense of their data using analytics solutions. This can include data and technology strategies, end-to-end implementations of cloud solutions, user empowerment, and analytics services. Our niche and approach is rooted in understanding the business goals of customers and using the capabilities of technology to meet these goals. And because of that, our customers and their business objectives are at the forefront of our approach. Here are some examples on screen of clients that we've worked with. As you can see, we work with large global organizations which fall into the verticals of pharmaceuticals, consumer packaged goods, finance, and insurance. But I will note that we're not limited to this either. As mentioned earlier, we are independent, so I'll just give you a bit more context on what this actually means. So essentially, rather than just working with one technology and therefore having our solutions slightly constrained to using that software, we actually partner with an array of key tech vendors within the data and AI space. And independence is helpful, as having consultants trained in all sorts of technology means we can understand our customers regardless of their current data landscape. As well as that, it allows us to confidently identify and recommend the best possible solution for our customers to fit their very specific business requirements. I will highlight, as we're discussing Fabric today, we've also been a Microsoft partner for over 15 years. So now let's get into an introduction of Fabric. You've all probably heard of Fabric, and maybe some of you might try to go with it, but let's just take a step back and look at the big picture. Microsoft Fabric launched on the 23rd of May, 2023, at the Microsoft Build Conference, and went into general availability in November of 2023. Fabric is Microsoft's end-to-end data analytics platform that brings together key experiences, whether it's data science, data warehousing, or business intelligence, and many more. Fabric unifies these capabilities into one seamless experience. And this allows data professionals, as well as business users, the ability to unlock the full potential of their data within an organization and lay the foundation of AI as well. So let's look into the evolution of architecture from an Azure point of view, looking at an organizational level. As an organization grows organically, each department tends to adopt its own technologies for storing and analyzing and exploring data. This situation is common, especially as companies embrace the cloud without a long-term strategic vision. And resulting from this, each department may rely on different tools and data sets, which could cause data fragmentation and hindering collaboration and insights across the organization. If you aren't familiar with all the icons on the screen, don't worry. However, data silos restrict the flow of information, which lead to inefficiencies and missed opportunities for innovation within an organization. But there is a solution. Microsoft Fabric is designed to break down these data silos by providing a unified platform that integrates seamlessly with various data sources and tools. And by centralizing data storage and analysis, Fabric enables easy access and collaboration across departments. So if you find that your organization is struggling with data fragmentation and a lack of collaboration across different departments, Microsoft Fabric might just be the tool for you. So you might be asking the question, what does Fabric actually solve? And that's where we come to now. Fabric puts the main tools in the Azure data landscape into one common interface, much closer than they've ever been before. With a better integration story and different licensing approach that removes a lot of the complexity from having all of those different components for different tasks. In Fabric, we have a family of data products which loosely fall under the four categories of data ingestion, data storage, data engineering, data science, and business intelligence. Fabric has been built from the ground up and addresses a number of problems, such as issues with data silos, data copy, data format, user experience, security, and licensing. And here are some of the examples of Fabric's approach to this. So, in Fabric, all of your company data resides in one place, and this is called the One Lake. One Lake essentially eradicates data silos so that the data across all of these products above is actually stored in one place, hence eradicating the need to create multiple copies of a data set. And the core principle of Fabric is that a data set should only ever exist once and in one place. And instead, data is just referenced to using shortcuts instead of having to make duplicate copies. So, all your data is stored in the One Lake. And in the One Lake, all your data is also stored in the same open format, which is Delta Parquet. This solves the data integration issue, which means that even if different teams use different tools, under the hood, everyone is actually using the same format. So they don't have to waste time trying to get the data into a suitable format. Another consideration is user experience that Fabric has taken into account. A lot of people didn't like having to log into many different platforms, each looking and feeling different to each other. But with Fabric, you log into one web portal, allowing you to navigate anywhere throughout the Fabric interface. And for those who might be administrating Fabric, things such as security and access control are just so much simpler now, as there is just one access control method and one security model deployed across Fabric. And lastly, billing in Fabric is unified. So when you purchase some Fabric capacity, or maybe start a free trial for your organization, you immediately get access to all of the Fabric items. There's no longer any separate licensing. There are obviously many more considerations and many more things that Fabric has built up from the ground. But now, let's take a step back and look at One Lake, the central data lake that underpins everything within Fabric. One Lake is the central data lake that underpins all the services within Microsoft Fabric, and it is designed to provide a unified, scalable, and efficient data solution. One Lake is built on top of Azure Data Lake Storage. Some of you might know this as ADLS Gen 2, and this ensures compatibility with existing data pipelines and provides seamless integration with Azure services. In Microsoft Fabric, all the tools that use Delta Lake as a common storage format, as I picked on earlier. Delta Lake embraces open standards, which is crucial for ensuring compatibility and integration with a wide range of tools. This means that you can easily use your preferred tool of choice without worrying about compatibility issues. And one of the standout features about One Lake and Fabric is its open connectivity. Fabric supports shortcuts to data in existing Azure Data Lake environments, or maybe even an Amazon S3 bucket or Google Cloud Storage. This open approach simplifies data access and integration across different cloud environments, making it easier to manage and utilize your data wherever it resides. Now, let's go into some of the key components of Fabric. And why I'm doing this is mainly so you can get an overall high-level picture of what is available within Fabric. I will note, though, I'll be covering some components more in depth than others. However, if you feel like you would like a bit more information, then I'll touch on this at the end of the webinar. Overall, though, Fabric has 7 key experiences, these being Data Factory, where you ingest your data, Data Engineering, where you build your systems to process your data, Data Warehousing, where you build scalable, lake-centric data warehouses, queryable using SQL, Data Science, which supports the entire data science workflow within an organization, Real-Time Analytics, which is a whole set of tools revolving around real-time data, Power BI, which is Microsoft's business intelligence solution that allows you to create reports, present visual insights to business users, and Data Activator, which allows you to automatically drive actions on your data without having to write any code. Now, let's take a deeper look into some of the components, such as Data Factory. The core purpose of Data Factory is to move and transform your data. It provides you with a set of tools to help you with ETL processes. And some of the common Fabric items that you might find within this persona are the data pipeline and the data flow Gen 2. Data flows are designed to connect the data and transform it using a low-code, no-code interface. So it's also beneficial for the citizen developer. And pipelines are an orchestration tool used to trigger different data processing workflows. For example, maybe running a Fabric workbook on a particular schedule. For the next component, we have the data engineering interface. The data engineering interface in Microsoft Fabric enables users to design, build, and maintain infrastructures and systems that allow organizations to collect, store, process, and analyze large volumes of data. Some of the key items that we'll come across here would be the Lakehouse, where you can store structured and unstructured data, and it transforms unstructured data into structured data using notebooks and other tools. The other item that you'll come across commonly is the notebook. For those who might have used a Databricks notebook, it is somewhat similar, and it allows users to write code, maybe for data engineering processes, such as cleaning and validating data. It supports multiple programming languages, such as Python, R, and Scala, and it's built on Apache Spark, which is a powerful big data processing framework, which enables efficient data processing at scale. And then for another component of Fabric is Synapse Real-Time Analytics. Now, the core purpose of Real-Time Analytics is to provide a set of tools to ingest, manage, and analyze real-time event data. Now, event data really does require a different paradigm and mindset in data analytics, and therefore you require a different set of tools, really. Some of the key Fabric items that we come across within this persona are the KQL query set, which allows you to query data in a KQL database using the Custo query language, which I'll touch on in a bit. The KQL database, which is a data store for streaming data sets built on top of the KQL engine, and then also the event stream, which is a no-code, low-code tool to register streaming data sets, process them, and route them to a destination within Fabric. Now you might be thinking, this is pretty new, so who would actually use this? And the answer to that is maybe data engineers for setting up and managing data pipelines for real-time analytics, or security engineers for security event logging and tracking using real-time data for threat detection and responses, or IoT, Internet of Things, engineers for handling data from IoT devices and systems. So that concludes the overview of the components of Fabric, but what about the future? As we all know, the data landscape is changing very quickly, and Microsoft is continuously evolving Fabric to keep up with the ever-changing needs of data specialists and business users. We've seen some significant updates as well as some smaller incremental improvements. The main takeaway here is that Fabric is consistently evolving to better service users, whether it's integrating new tools or enhancing existing features. Here are a few of the latest updates. Here we have Apache Airflow integration. This significant update integrates Apache Airflow into the data engineering persona and allows for sophisticated data orchestration of workflows. Next, we have external data sharing, which enables seamless access to data across different Fabric tenants, promoting greater collaboration and data sharing. The real-time hub, which I'll touch on in a bit, but it is a single storage location for streaming data, ensuring efficient real-time data handling. Next, we have external function calls, which allows you to call externally managed functions that connect to Fabric, extending the platform's capabilities in many meaningful ways. And finally, for this, we have the enhanced Data Factory GUI, which means that you can now edit destination columns and table names directly within the Data Factory GUI with greater control. These updates reflect Microsoft's commitment to evolving Fabric in ways that directly respond to the feedback and needs of its users. The platform is not static, it's constantly improving to help data specialists stay ahead in an ever-changing data landscape. Now, I'll pass you over to Utkarsh to go over some of the potential user journeys within Fabric and the AI capabilities that Fabric delivers.
Before going into the next section, I wanted to take a moment and go over a key concept in understanding how Fabric differentiates itself from its current cloud offerings. Platform as a service, or PaaS, versus software as a service, or SaaS. So all the separate tools in Azure are offered as platform as a service, and Microsoft Fabric is offered as software as a service. That's perhaps a technical way of putting it, so for anyone not familiar with those terms, I'll quickly give an introduction. When we talk about cloud services, there are several different ways that we can purchase cloud services. Infrastructure as a service is like renting virtual machines or just computers from the cloud provider. Platform as a service, where a cloud provider supplies the individual tools and the organization is responsible for managing them. And software as a service is where it's all provided as a combined package. An easy way to compare the offerings is to use the famous analogy of pizza as a service. If an on-premises system is like making your own pizza from scratch, then infrastructure as a service is like buying a frozen pizza or a take and bake. You've got to cook it and you've got to provide a place to eat it. Platform as a service is like getting a takeaway pizza. It's already cooked, but you've still got to set the table and provide your own sodas or drinks. And then software as a service is like going to a restaurant for pizza. The pizza is cooked and served to you with plates and drinks. Now that we know the difference between these systems, let's see where Fabric fits in. On the next two slides, I want to take you through some user journeys that compare older systems to a software as a service system such as Fabric. The first user journey is one of an organization whose data is currently on-prem databases. The system is entirely managed by the organization and requires high levels of involvement from technical users, such as an IT team. However, adopting a cloud platform such as Fabric can completely transform the organization's infrastructure into something that's not only secure, but also low cost and scalable. So as you can see here on the slide, there are some key differences between on-prem and Microsoft Fabric, which is a software as a service offering. As you can see, that data management is on an on-prem database is managed by the organization with local servers, while Microsoft Fabric uses cloud storage and is managed by the provider, in this case, Microsoft. In terms of scalability, on-prem databases are limited and they are costly and time-consuming to scale because of those local servers, whereas Microsoft Fabric is easy to scale with demand. And finally, for cost efficiency, there are high fixed costs for infrastructure in terms of setting up those local servers, But with Microsoft Fabric, it is a pay-as-you-go model which reduces costs in the long term. And even if this organization is slow to move their data to the cloud, Fabric can adapt to that by allowing for connections to on-prem databases using shortcuts to bring that data into the OneLake, which is in public preview currently. While the data gets migrated, organizations do not need to worry about any delays in service, since they can still connect to the on-prem database in the meantime. The next example is an organization already in the cloud. This example is a company that has a robust and built-out system for data engineering and ingestion, data science, and data visualization. If we use Microsoft as an example, this organization would have a platform as a service architecture, as mentioned before, using separate tools such as Azure Data Services and Power BI. The company would be responsible for managing these separate tools that Microsoft provides. The system does work, but it relies heavily on the maintenance and knowledge of technical users in the organization, since the applications require knowledge of SQL, data engineering, DAX, etc. However, with a software as a service architecture such as Microsoft Fabric, everything is built into one platform that is managed by Microsoft. The same tools from the platform as a service architecture are contained in this platform, but in one convenient package. These tools do not require separate management by technical users and only require the training of any user on how to use the application correctly based on the organization needs. Even if an organization has data stored on different cloud provider servers, Fabric is able to connect to those locations to bring that data into the OneLake. One such example is Amazon S3. These tools are built on a platform with Microsoft Copilot built in, so non-technical users can also build pipelines, data lakes, notebooks, and dashboards, which I will go into detail about in the next few slides. So Copilot is integrated into every layer of Fabric so that AI can assist through every step of ingesting, analyzing, and visualizing your data. The data in the AI models stay within Fabric, the Fabric tenant, so your organization's data is never used externally to train the models available in Fabric. Azure AI Studio has pre-built AI models that run on GPT 3.5 that are customizable to your company's needs. They even include models for text analytics, which can pick up on sentiment in your text data, as well as extract key phrases. Fabric also has models for translating text using Azure AI Translator. Copilot, you can converse naturally with the application to create data flows and pipelines, as well as write SQL statements. Just tell Copilot what you want to build, and it will propose SQL statements and machine learning models for you, even if you don't have the technical knowledge in SQL or AI. Synapse Data Engineering, Copilot can help you code faster by proposing inline finishes to your code. It can also automate some data warehouse processes and automatically update some procedures. In Data Activator, you can chat with Copilot to create actions in Power Automate, from changes it finds in Power BI, as well as converse naturally with it to configure your settings for your workflows. Power BI, you can naturally converse with Copilot to ask it to come up with calculations and measures that are applicable to your data. It will automatically generate the code needed with your approval, and with your approval, it would add it to the dataset as seen on the right here on the screen. You can also naturally converse with Copilot about reports, where it will propose visuals and whole reports in seconds based on your prompts and allow you to customize them to your organization's needs. Furthermore, analyze the visuals in the report and provide insights into why a pattern is appearing in your data. So as an ending point, the suggestions that Copilot provides should be taken with caution, since AI does not always provide factual or accurate points. Copilot is meant to improve the productivity in end users and should not be heavily relied on for suggestions. Now I'll pass it back to Will to talk about real-time intelligence in Fabric and to show you a quick demo.
Thanks, Akash. Now let's take a deeper dive into real-time intelligence. So what I'm going to do now actually is describe what KQL, or Acoustic Query Language, actually is, as I might know that a lot of you might be unfamiliar with KQL. So what is KQL? KQL, or Acoustic Query Language, is a query language designed for real-time data exploration and analysis. And now you might be thinking, why would I use it? You would use KQL to perform real-time analytics, allowing you to quickly query and analyze streaming data to gain immediate insights, detect anomalies, and respond to events as they happen in real time. And then finally, you might ask the question, why is it being introduced? KQL is being introduced to meet the growing need for real-time analytics capabilities, as this enables organizations to process and analyze large volumes of data instantly, thereby supporting rapid decision-making and operational efficiency. So, now we've covered what KQL is, let's just go into a deeper dive of real-time intelligence. As you can see on the screen now, we have a typical diagram of a real-time intelligence architecture. You would ingest the data from your streaming data set using the event stream, where you would ingest and process the streaming data. After that, you would analyze and transform your data using some of the items such as event houses, KQL query sets, or real-time dashboards. And then finally, if you wanted to, you would use the reflex item to act on your data. As I mentioned earlier, underpinning all of this is still the one lake. And then within this, you can access all of this with the real-time data hub. Furthermore, you can build Power BI reports based off these real-time data sets. So you might be asking the question, who can benefit? And really, the answer to that is any organization that wants insights from their real-time data. An example of this being, maybe imagine you are a manufacturing organization and you wanted to ensure products stay at a certain temperature during shipping. Real-time intelligence can help provide alerts if the temperature exceeds the thresholds and would enable immediate action. Another example would be maybe a retailer organization who wants to monitor customer transactions in real time to adjust pricing or promotions accordingly. Now, even if you're a citizen developer, real-time intelligence is really just for all types of users. Citizen developers can leverage real-time data to build applications, automate processes, and derive insights about deep technical expertise with the help of Copilot to write KQL queries and the low-code, no-code interface you find within the event stream to ingest the data. This makes it all very business user-friendly. Overall, real-time intelligence enables building an automatic response system across an organization's data. Now, what's upcoming in real-time intelligence? As you know, Microsoft is consistently evolving the product. So some of the upcoming updates that Microsoft has got planned, you can see on the screen now. A lot of them might just be connections to different data sources. However, there are also some big updates, such as SQL native support within the KQL query set. And what this means is you will be able to use SQL code to run in your KQL query sets, for those who might be more familiar with writing SQL. Now, I'm going to go over a quick real-time intelligence demo. But let me set the scene first. So imagine you are a public bike sharing company with bike docks located around London. You have real-time data coming in for their location. And this data contains information about bike ID, location, timestamp, and more. And you want to gain some real-time data insights for this data set. For example, maybe where a certain area of London is running low on bikes and would need refilling manually to avoid losing customers. So let me navigate over to Fabric. First, we would need to get our data into the real-time hub. So we would navigate to this icon on the left-hand side here. As we're already in the real-time hub, we would then ingest our data. My face will be covering the button, but there is a plus sign that says Get Events. If we click on that and then click on Sample Data, here is where we can ingest our data. And currently for this demo, I'm using a sample data set, which means if you wanted to, you too could also build this demo using a Fabric trial. As I've already done this, I won't do it again. So let's just cancel this. And then let's navigate to our event stream. If we open up our event stream here, you can see that we have our sample data set, which is streaming into our event stream. From this, we are transforming our data and then routing it to a destination, which is a KQL database. The warning here is just an issue with the multi-factor authentication with regards to my account, and it's just a bug. So for the purpose of this demo, just ignore that for now. Once we have routed our streaming data set to a KQL database, we might want to query our data. So for example, if I go over to the KQL query set, here is some KQL code that I've written before. This one here just takes 10 arbitrary points from the KQL database. If I run it now, the second set of code here, if I run it as well, it just retrieves the most recent count of bikes for each bike point and sorts them by bike point ID. And it displays this output here on screen. And then if I just run this final one here, just to showcase as well. Now with this code that I've written within the KQL query set, I can actually pin it to a dashboard. So if I navigate over now to this dashboard here, you can get real-time intelligence visuals that refresh as and when you want them to. And then finally, if I navigate over to the reflex pane, here you can set up alerts using the data activator persona that I mentioned earlier. And for this alert, I've set it up to send out a Teams message to me personally when a certain area of London is running low on bikes. So for example, the number of bikes at a dock is below 5. And if I just showcase that now, that would come up as a Teams message here. So as you can see, I've received a notification today that the number of bikes is running low. And then finally, as I mentioned earlier, you can actually output this data into a Power BI report as well, which you can interact with in real time. So if you wanted to, you could see the number of bikes on a map, or maybe how many bikes there are at a certain dock, for example, Strand or Chelsea. Now, I'd like to thank you all for sticking around. And as I had mentioned earlier, if you want to know a bit more about some of the other components of Fabric, then scan the QR code on the screen, and it will take you to a webinar that we've made previously, which covers a lot more of the basics of Fabric. And as for some concluding thoughts about Fabric, it's clear that Fabric is really just made for the empowered business user, takes away the complexity of managing infrastructure, setup, connectivity, and security, whilst giving you the flexibility, scale, and compute power of the cloud. It makes storage easy, and it will continually improve and make collaboration possible across all stages of an organization. And then finally, thank you, and here are our contact details again. Feel free to scan the QR code, and it will take you to our LinkedIn pages if you want to connect with us or reach out to us. And don't hesitate to send in any questions our way. Thank you.